boys and girls. In this video, we are going to practice making some patterns. I am going to use a black marker. I would like you to just use a pencil. That's because you'll be able to erase if you make any mistakes. So we're going to start with a very simple pattern, and that is just going to be line, circle, line, circle, line, circle, line, circle, line. What comes next? If you said circle, you were right. And then line, and then circle, line, circle, line, circle. And that's a very simple A, B, A, B, A, B pattern. So you can switch it up. In the next one, you can choose maybe 2 or 3 shapes. I am going to do triangle, square, or maybe rectangle, triangle, rectangle. What comes next? It's triangle. Very good. Rectangle. What comes next? It is triangle. And then we'll finish with rectangle. So in this next one, I'm going to pick a different pattern rather than A, B, A, B. I am going to do X, and then 2 lines, maybe 3, and then an X, and then 3 lines, and you'll see how my patterns are touching both the top and the bottom of the line. And then an X, and 3 lines, and then an X. Oops, I made it uneven. This is where having an eraser and being able to erase is definitely to your advantage. And then 3 lines. In the next one, I'm going to do maybe like a diamond. And the way that you do a diamond is you make the letter V, and then like you put the beginning of the letter A on top of it. And then maybe I'll put a dot between the diamond, and then I'll put a diamond. Whoops, I actually wanted to draw it the easy way for you. And then a dot. Again, the way to draw a diamond is to start with that V, and then make like the beginning of the letter A. And I'll put a dot between them, and then a diamond. And then a dot, and then a diamond. There's my letter V, and then my letter A goes on top. Now the Greeks really like to make detailed patterns. They like to make like a composite pattern. So sometimes in the middle of a simple pattern, they'll add like another element. Like they'll fill their diamonds with some lines. just to make it a little more, give it a little bit of pizzazz. And you see how that kind of makes that pop? And then sometimes they would do like maybe little loops between their patterns. So we'll start out real simple on the first few lines, very easy patterns, and then we'll get like a little more detailed. Just like that. Maybe you could put lines going this way inside of the little loop-de-loops, and it gets really busy looking. So take a look at your Greek vases for some examples of patterns. One of the patterns that I absolutely want you to have on your project is called the Greek key. So to make the Greek key, it would be almost like making rectangles. So you're going to start with a line up, and then a line over, and then a line down. And instead of closing your rectangle, you'll go the opposite way. So it's up, over, down, and then the opposite way. Up, over, down, and then the opposite way. And up, over, down, the opposite way. And I'm not going to be able to finish here, and over. And I'll make it small here so you can see it. Up, over, down, and then the opposite way. Up, over, down, 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 and then the opposite way. And then up, over, down, and back. And sometimes, because they really love to make fancy patterns, they would make like a double Greek key pattern, just like this. And you can see kind of how really cool that looks. And inside the Greek key pattern, that doubled Greek key pattern, they would put some lines. And then sometimes they'd even add some dots. So these are like some really complicated patterns that we're going to do. And I know that it seems like a lot for a first grader to do, but I am always amazed how my first graders look at the patterns on those vase visuals, and they kind of like copy them, and they go out on their own and they make their own patterns. And this project usually ends up being completely visual, like just so beautiful. So I don't want you copying the patterns that I did, except for maybe the first 2 lines. I want you to go out and work on some of those patterns just on your own.